started.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for staying for the meeting. So I'd like to go ahead and call this meeting to order at 12:14. And like always, when we have any kind of meetings or anything, we always like to open with prayer. So I'm going to ask Reverend Darlene if she'll open us with prayer today.
Thank you, Bobby. So I invite you to close your eyes. We begin by giving thanks for what was created today, this beautiful sanctuary of hearts, of heaven and earth coming together to reveal the truth of who we are, to create together. And it is in that spirit that we move into an opportunity to look at the business of our spiritual community. We look at all that goes into creating this, the operations, the sustainment. And in this particular year, as we celebrate our 75th anniversary, what opportunities are here for us and what shall we create together? So for this time, we give thanks for everyone's involvement, for the openness, and for all that flows, the bounty that flows through this. Thank you, God, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Darlene. So, in accordance with our bylaws, the active members will constitute a quorum for the transition of business. Article 5, Section 1. So our quorum has been established. I'd like to ask everyone, if you don't mind, to hold your questions until the very end, and we'll answer them at the very end. Okay? Now, the next order of business is... They're being pushed out, y'all. Our next order of business is to approve the minutes from our 2023 business meeting last February. These minutes were made available for you to review in advance, and there are a few copies left for today. There are a few copies available today if anybody needs one, okay? Do you have any questions or any corrections on the minutes from last year? Anyone? Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We will make that correction. Thank you.
A typo, thank you.
So do I hear a motion to accept the minutes with the correction? Do I hear a second? Second. All in favor, please raise your hands. All opposed? Thank you very much. The minutes are accepted. Next is a reminder of our annual membership renewal process. And I do have a form. Here you go. You hold that up for me, Michael, that'd be great. So according to our bylaws, Article 4, Section 3B, official members may elect to renew their membership each year by completing the renewal form on the website or by completing a paper form. This allows the church to keep our membership current and information on file up to date. So if you haven't completed your membership, we'd like you to do that by the end of March, I think it is. We have some membership forms out there, and you can also do it online. If you could do that for us, that'd be great. Okay. And next, I'm going to turn it over to Reverend Darlene.
Thank you, Bobby. And again, thank you all for being here. We'd like to begin by acknowledging our Board of Trustees. I should not have walked in front of that, I don't think. So we'd like to begin by acknowledging our Board of Trustees. As I call your name, if you'll raise your hand, Bobby Flowers, OMB Board President. Sharon Oxendine had a commitment out of town today, but she is our Vice President. Gail Ray, Secretary. Michael Winter, Treasurer. And then members at large, Jennifer Hastings, Michael Morano, Joe Wagner, and Julia Wagner. I also want to thank Cheryl DeCristofaro. She had served on the board previously and had to step down for her last term, her last year, and so we appointed Julia Wagner to replace her. So this is your current Board of Trustees. Would you show them your love and appreciation here? They're a true great group of people that we have. I want to invite all of our staff to come forward, the ones that are here. If you look at this list, I'm not going to go down all of the names. And just so you know, you all have copies of the annual report. It's on our website. It was sent in the e-news. There's a few printed copies out here. It's many, many pages, so we try not to print what we don't need to print. But you have a lot of this information in that. We have an incredible staff and a band. We have 2 full-time staff. I am full-time, and Reverend Marty Stimmerman, who's rarely here out front because she's always in the back working with our live stream. Someone has to monitor live stream during the service, including right now. So if you wave at the cameras, we've got our virtual members joining us virtually, and Marty's in the office with them. So there are 2 of us that are full-time. Everyone else is part-time or stipend or volunteer. And so I just really want to acknowledge this incredible group of people that we have here. It extends beyond the ones that you see here. I probably should call your names while they see you. Beth Beloit, let everybody know who Beth is, a licensed Unity teacher, executive ministry associate. Linda Jones is our volunteer program sacred service coordinator. Gabby Michael is the director of our youth and family ministry. Reverend Megan Goshevsky is our newest addition to the staff, moving from helping with youth ed to coming on as a part-time associate minister of prayer and community care. Reverend Barbara Ann Simone is our lead teacher. She prepares the lessons and works with our largest group of children. And then Reverend Morgan Barclay is a retired minister, but because I don't believe in retired, he helps with so many. That's a joke. I really do believe in retired, but he helps us with a number of things. We have an amazing band. Most of you heard last week, Richard Schulman is retiring. We are celebrating with him. We are hosting a benefit concert for him on March 15th. I hope you can come. He shared that his personal story of healing with Parkinson's, and so we're holding him in prayer. We are also helping him in some other practical ways. Ellen Winter, would you please stand? Ellen and some of our members are organizing ways to drive Richard to the grocery store and do some things that he's not necessarily able to do anymore. And so if you have some time and could be willing to help with those things, see Ellen. And there's a sign-up form she's pointing to, apparently. There should be a sign-up sheet for everything. If there's not, just get a piece of blank paper and make one. we'll figure it out. We really have an amazing extended group of band and staff. And then our support, as I said, Reverend Morgan, Donna Bricky, who's not here today. She actually and her partner have moved to South Carolina, but she still supports us with our IT and our website. Tia Holmes is our audio support. Judy McCowan, retired CPA who does so much for this church, for all of us, with volunteering. Her CPA services are quite amazing. And Reverend Deborah O'Geest as well. She may have already gone, but she is also an integral part of our ministry. So I want to thank all of them. And some of them have just a little bit they'd like to share with you. And so we'll get the microphone to our first one is Reverend Gabby to hear a little bit about the youth program.
Hi, we are growing rapidly, and it's really cool. So a couple of years ago and last year, I asked for everyone to pray for more girls and to pray for more children in general, and we got that. So now I need the prayer for more staff and volunteers. So if anyone feels called to work with the kids, it doesn't have to be every week. It could be 1 week a month, something like that. That would be great, even 1 a quarter. I just would need like a regular schedule type of a thing. But I'm having some people that are new and joining, which I'm very excited about. But I invite anyone else who would like to join us with any number of age groups. So that's it.
Yeah. And they are planning new things this year, more intergenerational opportunities where we'll get to be doing things with the children. We had a long sheet of paper today. There's out in the lobby. They're blue, I believe, and it lists things that are going on. And there's things listed to give you insight to things that are happening several months out that are big events. You'll want to know about that. The next one that we'd like to hear from is Linda Jones, our volunteer program coordinator.
Thank you, Reverend Darlene. Wow, what a year. We had a fantastic year. And it was my honor and privilege to work with all the leaders and the volunteers on all the teams, as well as our social outreach community projects. So I really, really had a wonderful time. And just a quick update, our First Impressions team, we changed it from welcoming to First Impressions this year, and our leaders are Joan Russell and Deborah Haskell. Deborah, is she still here? No, she had to leave. And Joan is in Belize on vacation. So anyway, they run a beautiful team, and as I call the rest of you leaders, if you're here, I'd appreciate it if you could stand until we're finished. The Hospitality Kitchen team, Phoebe Reed and Savannah Wheatley, they are the managers of that team. Safety and Security team, we had Dick Allen, and he stepped down from leadership on that team, and Linda Rowe is now our leader for that team. Stand up, Linda. Team Habitat, Michael Morano and Dick Allen. Dick is still away, I think, yes. And they are the co-leaders now because Joe Wigner and Chris Walsh stepped down this year, and so they were kind enough to take over as co-leaders. Labyrinth team is Barry Shepard. She is our new leader for that, and she's home. Unity Sustainability team, Jerry Conley and Judy McCown. Yes, there they are. And the PowerPoint Posse, Jennifer Hastings. That was a new team this year. Yay. There we go. And so I want to thank all these leaders, and also any of you who have volunteered or served on these teams. Would you please rise? Look at that.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you. So we want to thank all the leaders. Thank you so much for your sacred service. You have really supported and held this community together with your efforts, your gifts, your talents, and we're very, very grateful for all of you. Thank you so much. Also for our social and outreach, we have Coffee Conversation and Connection. Reverend Morgan Barclay does that. Thank you, Reverend Morgan. We have Feed the Kids, which is Jerry Conley, heads that up. And it's an opportunity to serve and feed the children at the Boys and Girls Club in Hendersonville. And the Adopt a Highway cleanup. Fred Fix and Paige Ashley are the leaders on that, and they're not here today, but they'll be starting up, and you'll be hearing more about that in the spring. They'll be out taking care of our mile of highway that we keep clean for the township. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you all.
Thank you, Linda. We
Signing
appreciate
off.
you. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
So, Megan.
Hi.
Megan.
So I have been officially doing this job since the 1st of February, and I am the new associate of pastoral care. And yeah, I really wasn't prepared to talk, so I'm just kind of winging it as we go. But I will say that I hit the ground running. I've already seen a few people in pastoral care. I've been making phone calls. We've been doing prayer. I'll be heading up the prayer chaplain team as well. And we are going through, for those of you who've been part of the prayer class we've had for the past 5 weeks, I believe we're going to have a few people sign up. So our prayer chaplain team is going to grow, and I'm very excited about that. So new things are coming through for that particular group. If you are seeking pastoral care, I'm here, and I would love to connect with you in whatever way that may mean to you, whether it's a prayer or whether it's we talk or go have a cup of tea, whatever it might be, I'm here. That's a very important part of spiritual development and growth. And yeah, spiritual guidance is very important. So I hope you take advantage of that, or at least put in some prayers, because we've got an amazing team of prayer chaplains that will pray for you. And unity is based on prayer. So it's very important to us. So thank you.
Thank you, Megan. And now Reverend Morgan Barclay is going to talk a little bit about a legacy program that he is helping us create.
It's going. First of all, when you fill out your annual membership box, if you happen to have put Unity of the Blue Ridge in your estate plan, check that off, just so we have an idea what's going on and can bless you. And Unity of Blue Ridge is participating in a Unity Worldwide plan that meets monthly, a great program to increase prosperity consciousness. And many of you are aware of Unity Worldwide, but they do a lot of things to support the ministries. And this is a really exciting program. It's full of energy and vitality. And on May 21st, we're going to have an attorney, a state attorney, come and give an informal presentation. So if you have any estate plan questions, bring them. And I'm going to be doing a conscious dying class, conscious dying, a pathway to a peaceful passing. That's going to begin in April again, and there's a little segment on that on legacy giving. So the legacy team, thank you all, and we're excited about how things are unrolling here.
Thank you, Morgan. And then Beth, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Well, my heart is full. As the Executive Ministry Associate, I am here to support the ministry. As a licensed Unity teacher, I am here to support the minister. That's what all licensed Unity teachers do. I do a lot of things to just, my intention is to make the service go smoothly, that you're informed, that things happen in a way that is with grace and ease. And I'm just so delighted to see so many people here. I love you and I thank you.
We are glad to have you here. And she stands on the shoulders of Reverend Christy Corna, so a beautiful shout out to her, who was with us for many years up until the middle of last year. So would you thank our staff, even those that are not here today, our extended staff. We want to thank you for being here. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, we have a great staff and a great volunteer service, so thank everyone for that. This year we have 3 board members who will complete terms of service. Michael Morano has completed the maximum number of years, Gail Ray has completed the maximum number of years, and Joe Wigner has completed 1 term of 3 years and is eligible to run for a 2nd term. In accordance with our bylaws, Article 3, Section 5, the nominating committee shall be informed 3 months prior to the annual membership meeting and shall initiate a search for qualified candidates for the Board of Trustees. So now I would like to introduce L. Ray as the chair of the 2024 Board Nominating Team.
Thank you, and thank you for the honor of serving on the nominating team, and this was such great people. The nominating team this year was made up of Jim Reed, thank you, Jennifer Hastings, Reverend Darlene, and myself. So thank you, everybody, for serving in that. And we are putting forth 3 nominees for election this year. Joe Wagner for another term. I guess, are they going to come up and?
Yeah.
Laura Cardwell.
Come on up, Laura.
Come on up. And Brian McCready. Thank you guys for your willingness to serve.
So we're going to hear just a little bit from each of them.
Give it to me first. And then no one else gets it. Brian sits down. Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Cardwell. I've been here for 9 years. I can't believe that's true. So when Darlene talked about spirit speaking, that's how I ended up here. One morning I was sitting on my couch and got the clear message it was time for me to check out this church that everybody was talking about called Unity. I went upstairs to get my husband and said, I'm going to go to church at Unity. He said, that's interesting. I had the same thought this morning. And so here we are. And then again, I was sitting in that little row where I'm always sitting, and universe said, it's time for you to serve your community. You've been here for a long time, and it's time for you to give back in a big, big way, because this has been my spiritual home now for 9 years. So thank you for giving me an opportunity to serve and give back.
Thank you, Laura Cardwell.
Hey, good morning. So I became a member in 2017, and maybe started a year or two before that. I remember came with a friend. We were both looking for community, spiritual community, and we arrived, and the place was full of flowers, and everyone looked amazing, and the energy was just, it was incredible. And about 10 minutes into the service, I realized it was Easter. It's like, okay, maybe that bar was a little high. It's not just, but it's like heathen that I was. I didn't know it was Easter. And then I remember the first thing I said to Reverend Darlene as I made my way after the service, and everyone shaking hands and hugging. And I said to Reverend Darlene, it's like that was the first service I've ever been in where the way the words were said could go directly in. I didn't have to tweak them. I didn't have to change them out. I didn't have to, they just went in. And that's never changed. And as to why I'm ready to be on the board a second time, you just witnessed the same service that I witnessed, right? That's my answer. just to be part of this community. And you guys, it's the best community. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I guess this means it's my turn. Why would I want to come back and do another term? My reasoning for that is right behind me. The last 3 years, I have been totally blessed and honored to be able to work with, to pray with, sometimes to laugh with these wonderful folks, and that's why I would like to do it again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. Now it's time for us to officially vote for our 3 members. If you signed in, you should have a ballot. Everybody should have a ballot. So if you'll just go ahead and put yes or no for all 3 people, that would be great. And then we have Pilar and Butch that are going to come by with a basket and collect all of the ballots.
And so again, we have 3 candidates. We need 3 candidates, so yes or no for each one.
So while they're going around with the baskets and everything, it's now time to appoint and elect a representative and alternate to serve next year's board nominating committee. And like I said earlier, the nominating committee assembles beginning 3 months prior to the annual meeting to interview potential board nominees, make official recommendations for the Board of Elections. Members of the nominating committee should not be related to anybody on the board or the nominees. So if you are interested in becoming a representative, if you would please stand. I need 1 representative and 1 alternate. So if you're interested, please stand. Okay. Tell me your name.
Jessica.
Jessica Cole, right? Okay. And do I have somebody that'll run as her alternate or to work with her?
We have Charlie Rogers.
Charlie Rogers. Thank you. Thank you. So I'd like to verify, the first person to stand up was Jessica Cole, and the second person to stand up was Charlie Rogers. So do I have a motion for these 2 people to serve as the representative and alternate for next year? Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you all very, very much. So now I think it goes to Michael Winter.
Thank you. Had the pleasure of serving as treasurer, which is an even greater pleasure when things are financially sound. And we've had a really comfortable year. We had a great end-of-year drive, and it's always easy to do when you've got good news to report. And I do. We have financial slides coming up. This shows our 2023 information. Our income from cash operations was $402,000. And I'm going to round off a little bit, but you can see the numbers up on the board. Our expenses were right at just under $399,000, and so we had net income of $34.25. We are a nonprofit. We're not here to make money, but we're certainly here to cover our expenses. And as this congregation grows, and as you witness the number of children today, the needs to serve the children, to serve the congregation are growing, and our budget is growing, and the fact that we ended in the plus is very, very good. Our end-of-year cash position, we have funds in a number of different accounts. We have an operating account with $69,117, a labyrinth fund with a balance of $23.94, special projects enrichment fund to support that growth is $76,500. We have restricted funds in a capital account, our reserves, of $109,963. We also have restricted operating account of $75,705 and an investment account that is valued at $20,921. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, this 20-year-old building needed work. It needed work before then, but we put a drive together called Raise the Roof to cover those repairs. The total costs were $680,282. We had pledges that covered $577,190. We actually received pledges of $514,042. We covered the difference out of operating and funds that had come, other funds that had come in. And in December of 2 months ago, December of 23, that loan was paid off in full. It's a pretty big deal. Brian Gompers, who's a friend and helped us with that, sent us a really nice letter saying, and I'll read it, "Congratulations on paying in full the church mortgage loan at Home Trust Bank. People think we're in the lending business. Actually, we're in the getting paid back business. And we thank you for paying us back as agreed, and even sooner. Happy to lend the church funds in the future. I pray God will bless you and support your congregation." That was a very nice response from Home Trust Bank. Times were not easy during COVID. Our attendance was
Zero.
Well, zero. Yeah, I was going to say low. It was below low. It was zero for the longest time and just gradually came back. We were able to take advantage of a long-term 30-year low-interest SBA loan, which helped us during that process. It's a $250,000 loan. It's at 30 years for 2.75% interest, and our payments began mid-year 2023 at $1,112 per month. We set our 24 operating budget at $375,000. We're nonprofit. We're also non-loss, so we set our income and expenses both are at $375,000. The operating budget consists of 3 general categories. This is not a small operation here. You look at the number of people we serve, you look at this campus, and you look at the number of different programs and volunteers and efforts that Linda referenced and things going on. The 3 categories that comprise that budget are the people, the programs, and the property. And again, that budget is $375,000 for next year. If you've ever done a renovation or a construction project, you get it done and everything's great, but you realize there's usually a few loose ends, some things that I wish we'd taken care of but we hadn't, or maybe they were working then and they're not now. And so there are a few capital projects we're looking at for 2024. There's lighting here that Joe can give a much better story on it than I can, but it's a very complicated process. Our first thought on that was that it was going to be hugely expensive, and thanks to his perseverance and some new technology, it's not. We've got upgrades to do here, and the estimate today for the lighting, materials, and the electrician run about $5,500 plus. We don't have a fixed estimate. The electrician is $5,750 plus. There are also desires and plans to do some upgrades in the bathrooms. Those did not get done during Raise the Roof. And as we talked about earlier, kids just keep showing up. So we've got some classroom upgrades to do too.
Yes,
to
yes.
accommodate them. And one of the things people have commented on they really like about Unity is that we don't harangue people for money, but we do need funds to operate. We do a once-a-year fund drive in the fall. We just completed it. We do it in the fall so that we have an approximation of what is coming in. Keepers of the Light was coined for that for two reasons. One, the spiritual reason. We really, collectively, we are all keepers of the light that Darlene and the rest of the community brings to us. But, or figuratively are, but literally we are keeping the lights on and we are paying the bills. And so this fund drive that happens in the fall accounts for about 50% of our annual budget. It is done in the fall also so that we can better create our operating budget for the following year. Stewardship program, I want to recognize all the folks that served on this, on the Keepers of the Light Committee. It was headed by Jessica Ayala, and she did a beautiful job with the picture that was in the hallway, our graph showing our progress each week during that drive. Also serving on the committee, if you're here, if you'll stand, we're Dick Allen, Jim Reed, Judy McCown, Donna Bricky, Bobby Flowers, Sharon Owenby, and Rev. Darlene. Last year, in 2023, we had pledges, and pledge can be an individual or a couple, a pledging unit. We had 64 of those who pledged $154,396. Those pledges, we actually ended up with 74 pledges and received 96% of what had been promised. That's a pretty phenomenal percentage. For this coming year, 2024, we have 76 pledges, and the total amount pledged for 2024 is $182,471. Now, we run the pledge every fall. We do a collection every week, but the actual pledge drive is one time during the fall. If you did not join and want to, or if you become acquainted with other folks here who ask about it, you can join that. You can make the pledge at any time, but we focus it in the fall for the reasons that I just mentioned. We appreciate your support. This is a pretty easy job. It's really a reporting function, and it's made a whole lot easier because we do, as we've mentioned, we have a CPA who's a member and contributes greatly. So we have our own little WWJD when we have tough decisions, and it's what would Judy do?
What would Judy do?
we thank you very much for all your help.
Now Michael Morano is going to give us an update on grounds, facility, and improvements.
Thank you. Okay, I have an open. I just want to, first of all, if you look at your annual report, you can see a whole list of things that the team has done over the past year, and that's been remarkable, but I really want to acknowledge everyone that's been a part of the team. So if you're part of Habitat, if you would please stand up. And just as the prayer we do when we tithe every week is you know, it's that process of giving and receiving. And for the program to continue to maintain our beautiful facility, we're always open to volunteers. And if you're uncertain whether this is what you want to do or not, just check us out for a week. Just come out and hang out with us, because the prerequisite is to have fun. Mm-hmm. And if we get work done, that's a bonus too. I'm going to speak briefly on the solar, which sounds like in reality, it's been going on forever. There's been a lot of hurdles. They haven't been walls, they've been hurdles, and we're making some significant progress. When we crossed over into 2024, our rebate of $16,000 became nil because the project hadn't been satisfied in 2023. So we had to apply for an extension through Duke. The extension came through. It's for 6 months, so the project has to be completed by June. I can tell you all the pieces are coming together. We're just waiting on the contractors. There's some small modifications that need to be made to this new roof out here to support the 4,000 pounds of panels that'll go. 64 panels will be across the top of that roof. So hopefully by June, maybe sooner, we'll be generating power. So excited about that. Is there anything else? I think that's it. And again, thank you.
Julia.
Now, Julia?
The Labyrinth update. How many of you all have utilized the Labyrinth? So then you know how incredibly special the Labyrinth is. A place for prayer and meditation, and of all things for right now, a thing we need is a platform for peace. Mm-hmm. Our volunteer team is essential in maintaining that sacred space. It's been being used a lot more. In October, the International Labyrinth Society had their annual meeting at Canoga. They did tours of local labyrinths, and guess who was first? Our Unity Labyrinth was first on the tour. Lots and lots of wonderful feedback for that. We had a generous donation of spring bulbs, rhizomes, and roots to create a pollinator bed, and we've called it the Butterfly Garden. So we're all excited, and come on out this spring pretty soon to see those blooms starting to come up. I am a volunteer on the team. Would anybody else that's in here that's a volunteer on the Labyrinth team, please stand? Yes. Thank you. It is such an honor to be on that team, to know that you're one who is creating that sacred space for us as well as the greater community. Lots of people come and walk the Labyrinth that we have no idea of. We've had people come when we've been there working. So it's very, very fascinating and used by the community. You might think that I was hallucinating, but one hot summer day, or many days actually working in the Labyrinth, I swear I can close my eyes and take just a moment and I can feel the energy and the blessings from the Labyrinth, the appreciation and the gratitude. It's palpable. So I invite you, I'd like for you to have that experience too. We need more volunteers. It takes a lot of hours to maintain that sacred space, but it's a wonderful thing to do. We meet formally the second and fourth Fridays of every month from 9 to 1. We take a break with the Habitat team, have snacks and coffee and fellowship at 11 o'clock. But this year also we're opening up alternate Saturdays. We will be meeting on Saturdays. To those who couldn't come on Fridays before, please join us on a Saturday. Come for as long as you can, for as many hours as you can, for many days as you can. Anything will be greatly appreciated. We really appreciate that. Please reach out to either Barry Shepard or Linda Jones or myself, and we'll get you on that team. It's really well benefit for you. Our labyrinth path is lined with bricks. And did you know you can purchase a brick for the labyrinth for $50, either as a memorial or as an inspirational message? One thing that's so neat is when a brick is ordered and when it comes in, the brick donor is called and it's discussed with that person, whether family or friends want to be there when the brick is installed. And they asked what kind of ceremony they want. They asked where in the labyrinth do they want it. And even if no family or friends are able to be present, it is done with reverence and respect. In fact, in October, there were 4 bricks installed, and it was done with a Native South American ceremony. So please look online to get more information about the bricks. Please look online to get the full update from the annual report of the Labyrinth Garden. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia.
Well, hello, everyone, again. You get me again. So I'm going to go over my president's report with you. I'm not going to read the whole thing word for word because you've had the opportunity to read it already. But I do want to touch on a couple of things. First, I want to let you know I'm speaking for Sharon Oxendine and myself both as president and vice president since she couldn't be here. But I want to let you know it has been an honor and a privilege to serve on this board in the capacity as president and vice president. I have learned so many things just being on this board. And then everybody behind me, they're a great group of people, and I truly, truly love them. As I said, we are grateful for the dedication, love, support, and encouragement that we get from Reverend Darlene. Reverend Darlene is always with us. She always has our back, so to speak. So, and that is so very, very much appreciated. All of the staff here, the staff are great. All of the staff, the volunteers, our AV team. I mean, everything is just wonderful and everything is just growing by leaps and bounds, and it's so appreciated. And of course, none of this could be done without all of you. So I would like to thank all of you and let you know how much I love each and every one of you. So like I said, our community is strong, dedicated, compassionate, and engaged. We are continuing to grow our membership, both in person and virtually. So this year alone, we have added 44 new members. Isn't that wonderful? That's really great, yeah. And we are very excited about that. You've heard about our Keepers of the Light and how that's going. We've talked about our youth programs and all of the people that are there. So we just have a lot of stuff going on. And the board's making a lot of decisions for all of you guys. Hopefully we're making good decisions for you. As you can see, there's a lot being done around here. And again, we could never have done any of this without all of you here. So I'd like to say thank you all very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Am I on? Okay, the battery died. So just, I truly want to thank you. This is my 10th year. This is the longest I've been in any ministry. This is the first ministry I've been guided to do more than transitional ministry. So I think we're in this thing for the long run. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for that. It's a beautiful experience what we have here on Sunday, but I also want to give you a little insight. I just got these yesterday, so it's not added in here. But last year alone, we had 1,580 people subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, anybody can watch it, but we have over 1,500 people that care enough about it, they have subscribed to our channel. Our videos last year, we had over 26,000 people watch. Well, we had videos play in their entirety over 26,000 times. That's quite remarkable. And on any given Sunday, usually the lowest number we have is about 55 people. So when we're in here, There's at least 55, sometimes upwards to 80, 90 people who are right there with us, tracking with us live time, and then far more that are watching after the fact. I think that's pretty remarkable. And yeah, absolutely. It's one of those gifts that came out of COVID. You know, it taught us that we're community in different ways. I mentioned this morning, but we have people from the United States, Russia, Barbados, Italy, Mexico, Africa, and beyond tuning into our services, which again, I think is truly remarkable there. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. The exciting thing for me right now is this year. I just said it's my 10th year being here, but guess what? It's our 75th anniversary. That's quite a milestone for this spiritual community to be celebrating 75 years. How many of you were around for the 70th anniversary when Gandhi's grandson, Dr. Arun Gandhi, was here? It was just a powerful experience. Well, we want to plan an amazing experience this year. I'm sure you've noticed, if you've been paying attention, there are many more workshops, groups, opportunities, and events that are available. So that information, we do our best to keep it out there to you. But all of you today, hopefully you received one of these. If you didn't, there's some more in the foyer. But this says interest, ideas, and investment. This is your spiritual community. What I am personally asking of you, I and the board, is we want to know your ideas. Maybe you have an idea that hasn't been thought about of something we could do that's really inspiring for our 75th anniversary that we could do together. So if you have any ideas, please pass those along. Other things exciting that are happening, going on. Last year, we had a generous donor contact us and gift us by hiring an architect, not just any architect, but a very well-known landscape architect that would look at our property and tell us how could we possibly develop it so that we could get the best use out of our property. We don't yet have this in full, but I just want to show you I was able to preview a conceptual master plan, and I was kind of blown away. I know you can't see it in detail here, and part of the reason is it's still a concept, but I want to zone in on one little thing here. So for example, you see our building here. This is just one idea. You know how when you drive up to the church, some of you drive up and drop people off and you go around that circle? That circle's not very exciting right now. The people that looked at it said, wow, what if you build up some more steps here and made these steps look better? And what if you turned that into a really neat area and one of the ideas that I have for 70, that I really feel guided, there's 2 projects I feel guided for us to do, and one of them is a community interfaith prayer wall. I want us to see a prayer wall, a tangible wall. Who knows what it'll look like? I'll show you one possible idea. I feel that strongly on the grounds because just like you said, Jessica, just like you said, Julia, you can feel there's palpable energy in this place. People walk the grounds all the time. Why not become more intentional of creating a space that you can connect with spirit within and without, using these beautiful grounds as an opportunity to do that? So what could that look like if we as a community put our creative heads together and said, let's do it ourselves. Let's build an interfaith prayer wall and announce it to the greater community and have people of all faiths, of all denominations come out. We get letters every year around Easter from people that walk the labyrinth, and they're all different denominations, but they're wanting to walk a labyrinth. And to me, that's what spiritual community is about. It's a Baptist and a Buddhist and a Catholic and an atheist all being able to come out here and enjoy together in the spirit that is life itself. That's a beautiful thing. This is another aspect that we would love to see, adding some sculptures, literally creating some intentional trails throughout our property. What if we had trails that had powers for the 12 stations that you could stop and meditate and enjoy those, and we add and really begin to create it and enhance it. So stay tuned, we'll have more coming there. This is one possibility I found. What if we had something that looked like this on the property as a community prayer wall that people could come and pray and would draw them in? Now, I don't know how to create that, and somebody probably has an even better idea, but I guarantee you if Peter can create these wings, he can figure out how to do that, or somebody in this congregation can. There's so much wisdom right here among us. The other thing that I would love to see us do, these are just two of the projects. We want to know what you want to do. How many of you have been to Lake Lure, to the flowering garden at Lake Lure? I invite you to go. It's a beautiful, Lake Lure in and of itself is beautiful, but there's a stretch of road that is no longer operable by cars. It runs parallel to the highway, and so they took that stretch and they turned it into these creative gardens. One of those, in one of the areas, they created a rainbow bridge pet memorial. If you've walked into the gardens and discovered that, I went out and walked it and I was blown away. One of the things, you can't really see it in the lighting, but people are now coming from all over the world. The rails are covered in dog collars. They've even had to expand it to cover it in dog collars, and you can see the little doggy footprints, and it has the beautiful Rainbow Bridge prayer. Now, I don't see ours collecting dog collars because eventually you just run out of those. But so many of us, how many of you have a companion that is a fur angel, and you understand what the Rainbow Bridge is when they cross over? This is another way I believe I know that our community will get behind this, because as a matter of fact, somebody that heard about this has already given us a check for $4,000 to seed the money to get this started. So it hadn't even been shared beyond a few people, and that happened. So I just want you to know there's energy for that to happen. So the form, ideas, your interest, your ideas, your investment, we really want to hear from you. And who would you like, if all things were possible, who would we bring to be here with us in October to celebrate our 75th anniversary? Now, it can't be somebody so big that people just get frustrated because they can't get in, yet we want it to be exciting enough that we're all really excited about it. So if you figure that out, let me know who that is, and I'll call them. We'll start working on that. One other thing I want to show you, again, that you may not even realize you do, and that some of the funds that you come in, your support, we are able to be supporting this beautiful young woman. Her name is literally Blessing, to be a student, and she sends us this video.
Hello everyone, this is Blessing Akwanabasi from Nigeria. I thought I'd express my gratitude once more for the love and support you have shown me in various ways. My ministerial classes have brought me so much value. Apart from the obvious fact that I'm learning a lot of useful tools that help me see the world from a perspective that is most beneficial and help me take the most productive actions in any situation. There's also the fact that I am so happy to be able to discuss these ideas personally with like-minded people, and I'm able to participate in a more active way. I used to feel like the odd one out, the outsider peeping in from the window, trying frantically to get in. I've wanted so long to belong to a community that resonates with me, where I can not only learn but also participate fully, even though virtually. And having the opportunity to be a part of these classes has given me just that. This really means a lot to me. I'm so grateful for the opportunity. I'm so grateful for all that I am learning. I'm so grateful for the way it's transforming my life. I'm grateful for the tools you sent and enabled me to get, which makes all this possible. The scholarship, the books, the laptop, the printer, everything. You have really, really made a great difference in my life. And I would also do my best to bring my contributions to the world in every way that I can. Thank you so much.
Community. I just want you to know that you are, when she says and feels that connection with a tremor in her voice, she's talking to you. And I just really want you to know the difference that you're making. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is the greatest gift and calling and opportunity to be here. And I have no doubt that we've completed some sort of cycle and are ready to enter into a whole nother way of expressing that is going to be far more beautiful than I think we may even be able to imagine. So put your seatbelts on. To the extent you can, I invite you to be all in. It takes your support, your time, your talent, your treasure, the financial resources, And so I invite you, don't hold back. Put it all in, and let's see what we can create together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Reverend Darlene. Now is time for to announce our ballots. I would like to ask Laura and Brian to come up here. Maybe, maybe not. Joe, if you would stand, please. Huh? No, you have to cry out here in front of everybody. I would like to say that we have an overwhelming majority for our 3 newest board members here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all. And now I'd like to see if anybody has any questions. We've presented a lot of information today. We've talked about a lot of different things. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to bring up now? All of our board is still up here. Reverend Darlene's up here. Yes, sir.
I've been in different congregations when they have different times for the fiscal year.
It's the calendar year.
Yes.
Calendar year, okay. And, I had a question about the labyrinth, but that was pretty much addressed and covered.
Okay, good.
So that really sounds marvelous.
Good.
I wanted to find out also about the Sacred Space Fund. What does that entail?
Sacred Space Fund. Sacred Space Fund?
That was mentioned in the course, all the discussions. So I was curious what that might be.
I am not. Enrichment?
No, that was, specifically what was, mentioned, because I had also another question about a reference to the restricted funds capital account. I wanted to find out what that entailed. I've worked on a lot of building campaigns, budgeting and budgets and stuff like that, so that's why I had a few of these questions. Thank you.
Did you say Sacred Service Program?
Excuse me?
Sacred Service Program?
You may have heard Sacred Service Program, which is what we call the volunteer program. So some of these funds are, so for example, the 109, these reserves, Judy, correct us if we're wrong. This, we sold land. We had a member who, Lucy Perky, left us in her will. So we had accumulated quite a bit of funds for that. So these are from a bequest that came in, some land that we sold. We've had to spend some of that money to subsidize the roofing and such, but we keep those reserved and only use those for things that are over and above, so to speak. This other Special Projects Enrichment Fund, this is something that's just happened over the past couple of years to the extent that it's its own line item. So for example, we had an individual at the end of the year that said, I don't want to just make a donation to the church, but because the church is doing so well, I want to give some money as matching funds. I want to make sure that the membership is supporting the church, but if they will, I'm going to give some money to match those funds. We also have been blessed with having a group, a benefactor, that has acknowledged us and said, the work that you're doing, the lives that you're changing, we want to support you in doing things that are over and above. So this money is not to pay the light bill, it's not for normal operations, it's to help subsidize anything that we can't cover through normal operations. And then I and/or Michael have to report to those benefactors and tell them how those funds are being used. Does that make sense? So that says a lot about the community, that people are willing to invest in the community because they see a spiritual community that is making a difference in people's individuals' lives. But the important thing for you to remember is the only reason they're investing is because we're viable by ourselves. They don't put funds, does that make sense? They're not going to put funds in just to pay the light bill. They're going to give us some extra funds to say, if you can run this business, I want you to be able to take it to the next level in this area. Yeah, good questions. Did that add to that?
Did you have any other questions? Okay.
Ellen? Yeah, so Ellen she's saying, okay, last year we actually had income and spent over $400,000, but you're saying our budget is $375. We intentionally use the word operating budget. As being stewards of the church, the budget covers what we have to cover. Now, in the course of the year, we will use some of those extra funds that come in if the money is there and we can bring in a guest speaker. So as the income comes in and we could afford to do more things, we will. But we budget to make sure we are covering the operations and the money that we know we can count on so we don't put the church in a place of deficit. Does that make sense?
So if you get, let's say, extra funds that come in, would it be perhaps placed in a reserve budget line, or you have a miscellaneous, let's say, budget item line or anything like that? I was just a little bit curious.
Some funds come in specifically earmarked for a capital project. I think you referenced.
Like $4,000 came in for a rainbow bridge. We've had money come in for a meditation garden. We've had money come in for other things. So that's restricted. It's like trust money. We had somebody recently give us money to get some lightweight tables. So if money comes in for something specific, it's only used for that, and therefore it has those reserves placed on it. This money also includes if the sustainability team has a reduce, reuse, recycle, and they've got, I think, over $1,000 in their account. The kids raise money to go to camp. So it's all of those get rolled in, and then our accounting system breaks it down. But you're just seeing that one number of all protected funds.
Brian, I think you have a question? Okay.
I was just curious if it's been estimated yet how much operating funds may be used once the solar panels are up and running. And then the second question is just the interest ideas investment. Is this specifically to the 75th celebration of the church?
It's to anything, any interest, ideas, investment, it's to anything. But about the solar.
If I remember correctly, when the solar system was specified for us, the cost of the system, including the rebates that they received, and our costs were about what our power bills were in 2022. I believe the estimates were built on that. Those estimates have not changed. Duke's rates have continued to rise. So we will see a net savings, as I think if I remember what I saw recently, 15% in 2024 is the increase that we can anticipate from Duke. We'll see a reduction in costs as we proceed down that road. Not to mention the reduction we get in terms of environmental protection. Is that right, Michael?
The only thing I wanted to add is it's going to take a year for the system to actually operate. I mean, on paper, we have percentages and so forth, but we have just a couple of obstructions up there that might cast a few shadows. So we're going to take an average. That first year will determine what our baseline is, and we'll have a better idea what the production will be. Did that answer?
Angela.
Angela?
We have a lease program.
Exactly.
It was kind of a state-of-the-art lease program that we presented, I want to say now 2 years ago. It's taken a long time to get it, all the variables cut out. So by leasing it, it doesn't require an outlay of cash. And as they've said, the projections are it's going to be about the same for a while, but it's a 25-year lease. And so over the years, we really should begin to see a reduction in our electrical cost as time goes on. And the other reason we did it is for sustainability reasons. The board and the membership said, you know what, if we break even if we had to pay a little bit more, it's worth it to practice what we preach and to try to take advantage of it.
Any other questions? Angela?
So we announced, what Angela just said, in the notes it said Richard Schulman is the music director. He was in 2023. Richard was here last Sunday, made the announcement that he is retiring not only from here but from his other jobs because he was diagnosed with Parkinson's 4 years ago. And his journey in dealing with Parkinson's, this has become more than he could do. And so he's focusing his energy on writing symphonies and healing. You'll see him from time to time, but we were blessed that God brought Sarah in and was leading the choir, and so when I approached Sarah, she said, I'll support Richard, but if that's what he wants, she prayed about it. She took time, and she came back and said, yes, I feel very called to be your next music director. So that was an incredible prayer. And I want to give a shout out to Robert George in the back on sound, just like... my partner Tia set up the system, and she does a great job with sound, but she can't do that all the time. And so we had been rotating some of the best sound technicians in the area. They work at the big nightclubs in town, you would know that. But they don't live stream, and they're usually out very late Saturday night. And so rotating that, we're getting a lot of inconsistency. So we have been praying about, we need the right and perfect person. And I was just about to put an ad out when out of the blue, the best name known for God, Robert George himself reached out to me and said, hey, are you looking for a sound technician? I literally told him he was an answer to prayer, so. Yeah. He owns and operates Temple Studio. He's one of the best sound engineers in town and has come to us. And then we also have Acela Thompson. Acela has been out there helping. And what we also realized last year, we hired a great videographer to help us, and yet videographers don't understand the intricacies of live stream. And so one of the things that we're using some of those funds for this year is investing on getting our live stream up to the quality that it can possibly be at a consistent level. And so I want to thank the many people that have been bits and pieces of getting us to where we are, and to Acela and Robert for stepping up in a big way to say, hey, I'm here now, I'm going to help you figure it out.
Any other questions? Cheryl?
So her question is, our labyrinth is growing, and if at some point in time we run out of bricks, what do? Well, we do the happy dance. First of all, we do the happy dance because it's all done, and then we say, okay, God, what next? It's the well, don't let them get sold out. That's what I was thinking. I was like, it could be steps to the prayer wall. How many of you like a interfaith community prayer wall? Yeah. How many of you like a Rainbow Pet Bridge cemetery or memorial, not cemetery, a memorial? All right, and I know some of you have great ideas and great connections of things that we could experience this year.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Now, before we close, I'd like to ask Gail Ray and Michael Morano to stand up, and I'd like you to thank them for me for the last 6 years of service that they've given for us. We appreciate you both so, and we know that you will still continue.
We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the divinity in you. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, truly. Thank you both. We do have a gift for you will be in the mail.
And if we have no other questions, the time is 1:25. I'll close the meeting and ask Reverend Darlene to close us out with a prayer.
I want to close this out with a song. Would you stand? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And all God's children said, amen. Thank you so much for being here. Hug somebody, spread the love. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, thank you.